Hey guys, it's MugenLord here, and I'm back again with another discussion video, and we're going to continue where we last left off, and we were talking about these major spoilers or these major leaks concerning our favorite fighting games, and I want to get down into it. Now, if you guys haven't checked out my last video, the last video was talking about the Street Fighter V Arcade Edition leaks for Season 3 and its characters and other updated features added to the game. So if you guys haven't checked it out, please check it out. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below and then come back and check out this video. So now we're going to begin with this video. This video is going to be Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite related material, and it looks like that there's been some more leaks concerning future DLC characters, and we're going to get right down into it. So it looks like that Season 2, as of the last update, he said that I heard from various sources compiled together that it will be Star-Lord, Miss Marvel, Azura from Azura's Wrath, Gil, and Lady from Devil May Cry. Now, he said, but the last character is one not everyone I've heard from has been able to agree on. So it's like his sources conflicting when it comes to the final character, kind of like the first DLC batch when he said that there was a character that he couldn't even he didn't even know, is because they couldn't find out if it's a Capcom character, if it's a Marvel character, and it seemed like this is the same case with this, that his sources can't agree which character is going to be. So he was saying that there being multiple characters in development is likely to blame. So they're developing all these characters at once that is said to be in this leak right here, and since they're being all developed at once, they're having a hard time deciding which character the final character is going to be. So he said the majority of them say Rashid, while others have said Regina. And if you don't know who Regina is, Regina is the sexy redhead from Dino Crisis, if you haven't played that game back in the day. And even one also said that Apollo Justice is the new protagonist from the Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney series. So that's pretty interesting. So he said here's where things get really interesting. He said all the characters that I've heard that are in development to various extents and from multiple sources, but not all saying the same things, I might add, which is something strange all into itself. Which includes Star-Lord, Miss Marvel, Green Goblin, Wolverine, Psylocke, oh my god, if that's true, Magneto, Storm, Deadpool, Doctor Doom, Daredevil, Azura, Lady, Gil, Rashid. I don't know why it's Rashid, man. Like, I want Jury, man. Captain Commando, Nina, Diaz, Regina, Jean, Virgil, Akuma, and Apollo Justice. Now, he said, I did notice the curious aspect of that being 11 Marvel characters and 12 Capcom characters. That's very interesting, because we had in this DLC, for this season pass, we had more, let me see, I believe we had Black Panther, we had Black Widow, Venom, and yeah, Black Panther, Black Widow, and yeah, and we also have Winter Soldier, and then we have Monster Hunter and Sigma. So we had 3 Marvel characters and 2 Capcom characters, and now in this case it's saying the total collection is there's going to be 1 more Capcom character than it is Marvel. He said, which would line up with the current unevenness. But when you add it all up, that's 23 characters, not 24. Meaning there's still a Capcom character I don't know about. Okay. Since adding these all up carries it all the way to Season 5. If it's all in fact true and all the sources are correct in different ways, then this is where it gets also interesting, because now we're moving on to more modes. Then he's saying, this person is saying that there's a 4-player 2v2 mode that's going to be added to the game, but I'm not sure when that is exactly going to be implemented, he said. Now, he said, I would say that despite the controversy with Marvel and Fantastic Four in games lately, I haven't heard anything regarding scrapping Doom completely from the plans. While he isn't in the plans for next year, from what I've been told, it's not conclusive as to his exclusion in the long term. Then he says, I guess it could be up to some people's interpretation what that means, since he's not being added next year despite his popularity and all. But I wouldn't look too far into it just yet. Now right here, he even says himself, what I'm about to share with you guys, this sounds absolutely like, I don't even want to believe it, This just reading this right now is just triggering my head that this has to be fake. This cannot be real. But from what he's saying itself that this sound wild. So I'm gonna read it to you guys. He said this next section for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite gets absolutely wild, and so I am dedicating it to its own section. He said, I have one source that told me some stuff that I feel I have to share in the event that it is true, but it's pretty out there. So do not take me as backing all of this either. He said, I'm just putting it out there in the event that this has any truth to it later. They claim the game will get a free update sometime around summer of 2018, and this update is going to include, it said free update, is going to add Deadpool, Wolverine, Daredevil, Akuma, Jean, and Virgil as free characters. This is where it gets wild to me, because now when I even me hearing this sounds too generous of Capcom. Now, we lost so much faith as fans of this company to the point where we can't trust things like this. This is too generous of them. If they this company wants to bleed as much money as far as DLC characters are concerned. But if this is going to be a free update similar to Street Fighter V, and they're going to give us free characters, I think this is the best way. Because Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is not looking good in terms of sell. But if Capcom want to get their money and get their money's worth and get people on board with this game, I think this will be the smartest move that they can possibly do. Add Deadpool, Wolverine, Daredevil, Akuma, Jean, and Virgil as DLC characters. That would definitely win the hearts of your fans back over, and everybody will willing to dish out and pay money for whatever DLC that Capcom would want to put out on the market if they do something like this. But as of right now, this sounds too good to be true. So let us continue. I would add that I was told by that same person that Regina was originally axed similarly to Ant-Man, since both were actually planned to make it. But things came up that resulted in their discarding. Ant-Man in particular was due to technical issues like Frank West on Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I'm not totally sure what Regina's issue was, but I was told half-jokingly that it might be because of too many gun users, which is getting out of control. In spite of that, Ant-Man and Regina could pop up as DLC down the line, since some degree of work was done on her at an earlier point, and supposedly was picked back up from what I've been told in Regina's case notably. And I was told she would and / is going to be used to kind of cross-promote a Dino Crisis reboot, which will be interesting if true. No one told me anything about Ant-Man since he was scrapped, but if the work is done and they wanted to approach him differently, I don't see why he couldn't make it back in. I've just heard nothing in regards to it yet. This same source was the only one who told me about Apollo Justice, which they claim is unique and utilizes Athena and Trucy in his moveset to some extent. So this is getting really interesting, and as you see, we almost done, but there's other information regarding other Capcom games as well. So they go on to claim the game is also going to get some kind of patch to fix the graphics and art style to improve the visuals. The user interface is included in things being touched up with that. Now, this is another thing that sounds too good to be true, but if they're going to update the game, since it seems as though they may not be doing multiple disc updated versions, they want to keep everybody updated, kind of like Street Fighter V. If this is true, they plan on patching this. They plan on patching the graphics and the art style to improve the visuals and along the interface. So it seems like they're doing a lot of corrections next year with this game. So not only they going to try to correct the art style and the visuals and everything, they also want to implement free characters. This sounds too good to be true. I'm sorry, too good to be true. So when it comes to the roster, their goal is for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is to have between 58 to 60 characters. Interesting, 58 to 60 characters. Some things they are looking into is to add a tournament mode and a playable and balanced Ultron Sigma patch in. A noteworthy thing about that is that they have some ideal to where you can have a boss character be your assist to compensate for no second character when playing as Ultron Sigma. Okay, interesting. Some more story related content is of course being planned. So they also plan some story mode content and everything for San Diego Comic-Con 2018, and they plan to add in some more story stuff on top of the original story mode. So they adding some new content to the original story that's being, that we have right now for the original. Now, this is the thing that's really kicking me in the head. That's really like bothering me right now. Now you know how I feel about these particular characters, and right here, this guy is telling me that there was going to be some characters from this franchise, from a franchise that I love the most, from Capcom, but was axed out because of something that Marvel disagreed with Capcom with this. Now, it's apparently that Capcom earlier on apparently wanted a Power Stone character in the game. Like I said, if this is true, I feel real salty right now. I'm like salty right now. So apparently Capcom wanted a Power Stone character, in particular Edward Falcon or Rouge. Like I said before, I always wanted those two, either one of those two characters or both of them in this game. So they wanted Edward Falcon or Rouge, but they were specifically set on Falcon. Now they said that Marvel ultimately turned Falcon down because they didn't want to confuse him with their Falcon. Which, come on, man, like come on. Falcon is more, from Marvel, is more noticeable or more iconic, to the mainstream than Edward Falcon. I can't see how they would confuse those characters at all if you even look at them. One is a black guy and one is this, I guess, an English guy or something like that. Totally different outfits. They just have the Falcon name. So they said that for whatever reason, Capcom didn't fight them on it, which comes as no surprise. They're giving how the roster turned out, if this is true. So maybe there was a couple other gameplay or character decisions they wanted to make, but they probably clashed a lot with Marvel, and that's probably the reason why Marvel roster is probably looking, Capcom roster is probably looking the way it's looking. So, and also it still doesn't negate the fact is that they didn't put Rouge in there to represent Power Stone. They didn't want to put Falcon in that. But he said that's all the sources that he have gotten for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So this is really interesting. My opinion about this leak right here, even though that this guy has been spot on with his predictions with other things, one thing that really gets me about this leak is the fact is that this is too good to be true. This is something that players want, and Capcom is not known for giving players what they want in most cases. So I'm really sketchy about this, but I really wanted to share it with you guys because you guys been hitting my inbox up with this, and I wanted to talk about it. So I want to hear your opinions and what you think about this leak, because this is really interesting. This really got me thinking, and this is also to get the hype train rolling and get the speculation going for the next season for DLC characters for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So make sure you leave your comments, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're interested in my video, please share this video, and if you haven't checked out my Street Fighter V Arcade Edition Season 3 leak video, I advise you guys to check that out as well. So that pretty much wraps everything up, and we're going to move on to the next video, which is Dragon Ball FighterZ. So you guys have a good night, and stay tuned. Signing off.